Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to another year of the Tearing It Up podcast. I had all the intentions of the world to get this podcast out on Thursday, January 1st. I didn't pre-record because I really wanted to do it pretty authentically going into the new year. I wanted to just wait and see how things were feeling that week, see if any major ideas or inspiration struck me, but it was quite the opposite. It was a really, really busy week after Christmas for me in the high school wrestling team. We had 2 tournaments in a week, and they were both 2-day tournaments. So the 29th and 30th, we had a huge tournament in Nevada that includes like multiple states, 90 plus kids in brackets. And then we had another tournament Friday and Saturday. So it was a busy, busy week. We had our first placer at that big tournament on that Monday, Tuesday. First placer that Truckee has ever had. So it was really cool. It was 8th place, which again is still incredibly great out of the 90 some kids. And just amazing to see how far this team has come in the last 5 years that I've been a part of the program. And, it's been a really tough start to the season because I was already feeling burnout, as I've talked about before on this podcast, before the season started. So going into wrestling season feeling that way is pretty tough because it's a huge commitment. I'm there 6 days a week, whether it's practicing or tournaments or weekly matches. It takes up a lot of time and splits my day. And so when I'm already kind of stressed about things, it adds a little bit to it. But at the same time, it's something I love so, so much that when I'm in it, when I'm at practice or at those tournaments, it is, the only place I want to be. I love it so, so, so much. But around it, before, after all of that, the stress kind of hits. But again, it's been incredible to see the growth that we've had, and it's already, the beginning of January. Our season is so short. We don't have a whole lot of time left, just over a month. It feels like it goes by really fast when you just look at the schedule. But anyways, like I said, last week kind of sucked everything out of me. I was pretty exhausted after the Monday, Tuesday tournament. They were very early mornings for us to get down there. Then New Year's Eve day, I worked and was just exhausted after. So I was like, well, I'm not going to record now. And New Year's Day was not feeling the best. So again, was like not ready to record. And then we had our second tournament Friday and Saturday. So, that's I guess the one of the best things about running your own shit is you get to make up the rules, right? I know that with podcasting, consistency really does matter. Getting an episode out weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it is, sticking to your schedule. That's kind of the thing with everything, right? Consistency is always key. But I have been consistent for a long time now. So I know that lately, in the last few months, it hasn't been. I've missed a couple Thursdays or whatnot, but I'm still getting them out once a week. And I honestly wasn't even going to do this. I was like, it's fine. And I know I said this exact thing before, probably on my last solo episode, that I came to a decision that it's okay. It doesn't matter. I'll keep going. I've got one in queue for this week, the 8th, and the following week. We're all good. But then I get to the point where I'm feeling good and okay, and I want to talk to you guys. So I'm like, no, I'm going to put an episode out, even if it's late and it makes, 2 episodes in a week. That's fine, because this will be a little bit shorter. But yeah, I just had that urge in the time that I was like, no, I want to go talk to my people. So I'm going to go do that. And I don't have, a whole lot of super inspirational things or motivational or whatever to say. Amber and I discussed a bit of this in our last TNA episode, the one that released on Christmas that wrapped up 2025. A lot, like I said, happened in that week. My mind has been in a lot of different places in just those 7 days or whatever since we chat well, I guess we chatted a little bit before Christmas, so it's been, like, 2 weeks really since we had talked and recorded, but, yeah, my mind is just going, 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 and that's why I did wanna wait in the first place to record, like, on as close to New Year's as possible because I knew that's what would happen as that New Year approaches and you start seeing everyone posting things, saying things that your mind might get into a certain train of thought, and whether it's good or bad, like, mine bounces around to all of it. The comparison, you're thinking about the year past, like, "Oh, man, all these people are posting, like, all these great things that happened. What happened for me?" Or just feeling like, "What's gonna happen this year? I don't know, and what do I wanna work on? What are my goals?" Maybe I don't have hard, concrete goals, and you don't have to, right? You don't have to have a resolution. Your resolution doesn't have to be something that needs to be complete in the year. It can be an ongoing goal for life. Like, I wrote a couple things down just yesterday when I had a moment excuse me, a moment of, like, I don't know, just clarity and that motivation to do it, which was and again, this stuff does happen at the beginning of the year or, on just that random Monday, like, "This is the week," whatever, that I start this, but for me, I guess, what I want to be one of my main focuses maybe it has before and tapers off, but really is my body, I everything feels just harder than it used to. And sure, I do think age has something to play with that, right? Our bodies are a bit worn down. However, you also see people of an older age just killing it, being out there super active, especially here in Tahoe. There's a lot of people in their 60s, 70s, like skiing, biking, going to the gym, doing all those things. And I want to be able to do that. I've noticed that since I moved to Tahoe, I've seen so many active older people, and that's been the goal. And before I moved to Tahoe, that I want to be able to move my body always. And right now, it is not moving in the ways that it used to, and I'm like, "Jesus, I'm still only in my 30s, so this is not good, right? I have to keep moving." It's 100% true, body in motion stays in motion, but I'm not trying to hit the ground running, like, doing a 30-day challenge and trying to, master cleanse it, cut all sugar, drop everything, and be very restrictive and on a military, like, schedule, but and I'm not trying to do that by any means, I'm trying really hard. My hardest thing is to drop the ego and not be upset with where I'm at, and slowly, slowly working towards that better progress. Also, having the idea that I might not ever be at a certain point that I was. Like, maybe I won't ever have that same mobility or strength in this position or something like that, and that's okay because I kinda compare it to what people well, I haven't been through it, so I can't say what they go through, but the talk around getting your pre-baby body back, right? That was such a huge thing. I'm sure it probably is in a lot of different places or communities, but your body has forever changed after you have a baby, right? So you may not ever be doing the same exact thing that you were beforehand, but then a lot of women say like, "Oh my god, I've never been stronger or faster or healthier like since having or before having a baby." So you just don't know, and I'm trying to keep that open mind that I can absolutely be stronger, more flexible, faster, healthier than I ever was before. But I don't want to really set out with the goal of I am going to be stronger, faster, blah, 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 all these things than ever before because I don't want to let myself down, I guess, if I didn't reach those goals. And I'm not specifically training to do that. So it's going to be even harder to get there. I'm just focusing on moving my body in ways that I haven't in a long time and really putting the focus on things that have been missing for a while. So I know it's gonna be a long road, especially if I'm doing it slow, but again, just trying to drop that that ego. And for me, the just a lot of things, the analogy comes back to working out because that's part of my life. It's what I do, like what I did do for a long time was personal training, and I still have clients here and there, and of course my own journey. So it is just something that I can compare to any other parts of life all the time of, like I said, bringing it back to like working out and okay, with your goals in your career or life, like take it slow, know that it's not going to be an overnight thing, and sometimes it is, but like I said, it's hardest to remember that and to take it slow. Slow is slow is painful a lot of times. It's a lot more painful, especially in our society, but, um, I think, like I said, for me, that's kind of the top of the line. I don't really want to, at this moment, put big goals on, "I wanna reach, like 1,000 downloads with the podcast or 2,000 followers on Instagram or X amount of partnerships or whatnot because I have so little control over all of those things that I think that makes me just, I don't know, have a harder time when you don't reach those. So I do have control over how much I'm moving my body and whether I'm doing my shoulder mobility, doing yoga, going to the gym, working out, whatever it is, that is my control. I don't always have control of how my body will react, right? But there's so many variables that I can control. And that's down to nutrition and sleep or things. Like I said, there's always things you can't control. Obviously, you get sick, you get hurt, and that shit happens. But where I'm at in life, I think I need a good level of variables I can control. So that's my biggest focus is my health and wellness. And I'm not, like I said, at this moment really putting too much thought into other kind of business things right now because that wall I hit in November, that burnout I hit, it was relatively short-lived, the physical things I felt from it anyways, um, but I don't wanna hit that again, so if I'm not putting myself first and taking care of those things, then I know it's a heck of a lot easier to continue to hit those walls, so I am putting that oxygen mask on right now, on me first, and trying to carve out the time for me to prioritize these things, and that's also getting outside, getting out with people. If you've been listening a while, I've done a lot of things solo because of my cardio and being worried about how fast I am on the uphills and this, that, and the other, and it still comes into play for sure, and it still will, but I also know what I'm lacking in life is in-person community. I think we've built an amazing community here with the podcast and online and I have a community around here, a lot of groups I'm involved with or, people I know and can do things with, but I'm not deepening those relationships and I'm at a point where I feel like I need to do that. I really need to kind of force myself out of this little cancer crabby shell that I've been in of just kind of retreating and being a homebody and just doing things alone. And it's been a long time here that I've kind of been doing that, but the couple of like good friends I have that I always feel comfortable calling and doing anything with, our schedules are so different. It's so hard to get out and do the thing. So I just need more in my little Rolodex here. So I'm gonna be pushing myself out of that comfort zone, reaching out to people, and again, this is not something new for me. I'm sure I've said it time and time again here on the podcast, but I said once life hits and we get busy and it's just like, no, I do wanna go home and I wanna watch the fucking Housewives and do something and chill, right? I think a lot of us women are at that age of wanting to do that because a lot of the alternatives, especially in the winter, are going out and spending money, right? When it's dark at 5 p.m., what else is there? Like, what is there to do that doesn't involve spending money? And maybe you're just going to your friend's house, but it's just a little bit different when people are married and have kids or, have these just set up lives. So it's yeah, a little bit harder in the winter to find things to do in the evenings with your friends that doesn't involve going and like having a drink or like I said spending money because that is always a goal of mine is getting to a better financial position, but that will take a few other things to get there, like more work and just, I don't know, streamlining some things, but I want to try really hard to not be spending excess money. So, yeah, whoever listening out there has some ideas of things to do with people in the darkness in the winter that doesn't involve spending money, that isn't simply just going to someone's house and having dinner or something, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are, but at the same time, it could be nice to, at least once a month, um, go out with some friends and have a girls' night. I actually saw someone posted today on Instagram to their story, like, research shows that women need a ladies' night every 22 days. I didn't click and read to see if there was any sort of actual research data, something that claims this. My mind just instantly went to like our cycles, right? And where you're at in your cycles and hormones, and that at that 22-day mark, generally, you're at a hormone stage where you need people around you or something. And maybe that's the time that you tend to retreat and be solo. But obviously, that's different for everybody too. But yeah, it always sounds good and great when you're talking about things in the new year, but it's so hard to stick to because time just flies, right? You can have the best intentions, do something one time. Like I remember a lovely, lovely evening that me and two of my girlfriends did a full moon cross country ski, and it was a blast. And we're like, let's do this every full moon. Of course, in the winter, not every full moon is a clear night. So, of course, the next full moon, it was cloudy, gross out, like, so we didn't go do it, and then never did again. I know a couple people who seem to stick very well to these monthly traditions, like sunrise hike, or maybe they do a full moon something, and I am just really, really bad at sticking to things, which is kind of ironic because I feel like I preach that a lot in the things I do, but, I stick to things just not on a regular cadence, I guess we could say. Like, look, this podcast, right? Once weekly for years. But my gym routine, yoga, all of that, it's always been really sporadic, and that's because my work schedule has. So, again, something I say every year is like, maybe I actually do need to really stick to a schedule. Mondays are this, Tuesdays are that, but it just hasn't fit my lifestyle very well, and that could be just because I like to be able to push the boundaries and say, "Well, it's a it's a great day on this Monday. We just had a storm, the snow is good, so of course I wanna change my schedule and go out and enjoy the snow." So sometimes I'm like, in the winter, I can be flexible, but maybe in the summer I'm not, but it's with everything, you can find that excuse for everything. "Oh, the wind is not like, it there's no wind today, let me get out on the lake," or, "It's not scolding hot out, let me get out on my bike." There's always an excuse and a reason, so again, something I'd love to hear from you guys is what works for you when you have a sporadic schedule with work and life? Is there one thing you stick to at all that keeps you grounded, like something that never changes, like your Sundays never change, or um, again, maybe it doesn't have so many rules around it. It's not Monday morning, I always do this, but Monday sometime, I always do this, finding that 10 minutes, 15, whatever to whether that's meditation, yoga, again, working out, I don't know, but always interested to hear what other people do and what their tactics are to keep themselves grounded, because that's what I think I need is those things that I do regularly that keep me grounded and connected. So that I think will be the monthly thing. And maybe for me, as I'm workshopping this literally in my head right now, that's not necessarily every, once a month on the first Sunday, whatever, I'm doing a certain thing with certain people or even certain people, but I'm just like checking in with myself and making sure that I'm getting out into the world with a group of people and that group of people can change, but I need to be making the effort to do that. So I think that's what I'll do just for myself, that I am getting out there, calling someone new, doing something new, maybe getting back on my split board a time or two, Um, and not feeling so worried or ashamed about how my performances, because again, I know I've talked to so many people who are like, "Hey, I'm the same," or, "It doesn't matter, just call me, I wanna get out." I do that to people who are like, "No, no, no, I'm not that good, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "I don't care, I just need someone to go with." Um, so yeah, it's just about making those calls, right? It's just like showing up is the hardest part. But anyways, I said I would keep this short. It's really just a quick check-in. For any of those who may have noticed that I didn't have an episode out on Thursday the 1st, just that like, hey, I'm here. We're still rolling. We've got episodes in the queue this month, but I had planned on the first one being a little solo pod. It just didn't work out for me to be in the right headspace to chat at you guys. So, yeah, not many updates yet other than we just are going to keep things rolling and going and having these awesome conversations that are real, honest, and quite frankly, pretty raw at times. So always feel free to send people my way if you think there's someone who'd be a great guest for the show. And always, please feel free to share, follow, subscribe, all those things. It does help out a lot. Like I said, I may not have certain goals I'm putting out there into the world of reaching X amount of this or that, but I am still trying to grow this podcast and all the things I do under Tearing It Up. Definitely hope to continue to do events, do more events this year. I just don't have any on the schedule quite yet for winter, at least until mid-February. I am just focusing on work and wrestling season and getting through that and then letting the calendar kinda open up, and starting to do some or at least get some events on the calendar and things, but I spread myself way too thin in the fall, so I am trying to really be as wintry as I can in a way by only filling my calendar with the things that I've already been committed to, other than adding those once at least monthly friend outings. So if you're in the Truckee, Tahoe area and you wanna get out in the snow, um, a tour, cross country skiing, snowmobiling, and you wanna go slow, at least on the human-powered things, then give me a call for sure. I also would love to start a, cross-country gang, so if any of you wanna come up to my place and be a part of that absolute feral cross-country ski gang, then please do that too. I hope you guys all had a happy New Year, happy holidays, and just know that if you're starting the new year off not feeling fresh and ready to tackle all these things, I feel you so hard. It's literally the middle of a season. Um, so you may have those waves like I do, where one minute I'm like, yes, this is a goal. I'm starting fresh. And then the other minute it's like, I'm smack dab in the middle of a lot of shit. So it doesn't feel new and fresh. So I feel you so hard. And I just hope that 2026 opens some doors for all of us out there. Been seeing a lot about the year of the snake going into the year of the horse, and I couldn't hope more that that is true. And I hope it is for all of you out there. We continue to grow and just do awesome things and see life unfold in the way that we want it to. So I will talk to you all next week.